just got home from work and it is coffee time in my Lord Monochrome cup. Hello BookTube and welcome back to one of my bookish discussions, because it definitely hasn't been weekly. Here we go. So it's been a while. I looked at my thing and on my notes it's been a month since I've done a bookish discussion of what I've been up to. Recently read, yes, I finished Deadpool The Circle Chase by Fabian Ndzietza, and that was a 3 out of 5. It wasn't bad. I think it was an intro to the Deadpool in the 90s, so that was kind of interesting. I finished Everless. This was absolutely beautiful. This was a 4 out of 5 star read. I love it. I'm going to have to read the rest of them now. Are the rest of them out? I hope the rest of them out. Next, and again, I should have checked if the rest of these ones were out, and they weren't. And I think I said that in my last one. Pendragon by James Wilde. And this is set in the wilds of England when it was being occupied by the Romans, pre-Arthurian story, where it actually sets up the father, the protector basically of King Arthur, who's going to produce King Arthur in the next few generations. So it's all sort of witchy, and they're taking mushrooms to go on travels through the dreamscape and that sort of thing, because it's all set in that sort of era when magic was so close it was almost real. And we set up the Pendragon, who is the protector of the hereditary line that will be King Arthur. And of course, only the first one's out, and the next one's not due out until next year. It was a bit stupid of me. I should have checked before I looked, but I was listening to that one. Another audiobook, and so happy I got this one. I've had this one on hold since I worked out I could get audiobooks from my library on my phone, and this is from like March, and that's Every Heart a Doorway. Oh, I know it's had big hype, but it's so adorable. If you don't know, it's the people who've gone on fairy tale journeys where they fall through a hole or a door, or etc., like your Alice or your Narnia style ones, and then they come back. What do they do after they come back? No one believes them. So one of the people who've actually gone through one of these doors, and her door still exists, she can still get through, but she doesn't fit there anymore because she got too old, which sounds like Narnia to me. She has set up a school for people who are in this situation to try and help them understand what's going on and possibly find a door. And I love the way the house is set out. If you're high logic, high magic, you live here. If you're highly illogical, high magic, you live here. If you're a dead world, you live here. And it's so cool to have that almost analysis of the fairy tales that were in it. So I really love that one. That was a 5 out of 5. I read the first Quint book from the Edge Chronicles, and that is The Curse of the Gloamglozer. I'm not entirely sure how to say that one. That one's a fun one. Really liked this. I like that adventure style, but steampunk-esque, because they live on a world that's made of this particular stone that when it's cold it rises and actually like floats, and they've got wood that when it burns it floats, and they've got this other stuff that their knights go and collect from this certain lake, and when it's dark that stuff's heavy. I love the physics of this, and the steampunk-esque, and they're wizards, and they're like alchemists, and it's got little drawings in it, and it's so cute. It is middle grade, but I'm absolutely loving it. That one was a 3 out of 5 star. Again, with the wizards, I know it's a theme, I read or listened to Grave Peril, the third book in the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. And this one was particularly good because it was really starting to get into the gritty storyline that is Harry Dresden, and all the little all the little nooks and crannies that is his past life start coming up and actually getting threaded through the storyline that were just sort of hinted at in the first two. And it's sort of almost like Jim Butcher worked out how to do it into the story instead of just hinting at it. It's like it got solidified between book 2 and book 3, so we could understand how to put it into the story. Really good. I liked that one. That was a 4 out of 5 star read as well. I've been doing pretty well. This is a BookTube Made Me Do It. I've seen these books in the background of many of the booktubers that I've watched, and this is Just One Damn Thing After Another by Jodie Taylor. And I read the first one in this series, and I really like the way that she takes the piss out of historians, which is nice because it's kind of like the way scientists take the piss out of each other, and it kind of cracked me up. I liked the dynamics of it. I liked the time slip style. Did the pods come first, or did the tech come first, or and it's because the time travel loopy thing, love it. And dinosaurs, they ended up going back and seeing the Cretaceous period. Awesome. Gotta love some dinosaur action. It's not quite dragons, but it's very close. So that was a 5 out of 5 star read. Really enjoyed that one. Again, since I had the audiobooks on my phone, sorry about Colin, I put in a request for this, which was the first Harry Potter book to listen in audiobook. I've never listened to them, but the versions that we have in Australia and I believe in England, but not in America, I feel sorry for you, are read by Stephen Fry. I love Stephen Fry. I also love his audiobook reading. It's fantastic. It brought the world alive for me again in a way that is almost as good as reading it the first time. So I really enjoyed that, and I've got the rest of them. As I get each one, I'm going to listen to the next one. So I'm going to be reading but re-listening to those ones. Really enjoying it. I love Harry Potter. That actually made that book 1 star better, so now I've revised it to be 4 out of 5. I also finished The Shadow of the Dark Crystal by J.M. Lee, and I really enjoyed this because I'm a Dark Crystal kid. I loved this movie. It's this weird little band of people like my age and 2 years plus, maybe 1 year minus. Like, my boss is 4 years younger than me, never heard of it, never at all. So, whereas people that are exactly my age seem to know what this is. I may have seen a person that looked like a gelfling today and lost my poop. Went, oh my god, that person looks like a gelfling, how cool. But it was a boy, so he definitely didn't have wings. And yeah, this is really good. This is going to be, I think, either a duology or a trilogy, and it seems to be a bit parallel with the movie, I think. It's been a very long time. So, really liked it. Gonna have to read the rest when they come out. And again, they aren't out yet. So that was a 3 out of 5 star for The Shadow of the Dark Crystal. And finally, it only took 6 months. I finally finished The Raven Cycle, and I loved the ending. Loved it. Won't go into it here because that would be cruel and mean. Oh, I loved it. I love this whole book. It kept me on the edge of my seat. I kept going, how are they going to finish this? How is she going to do it? Maggie Stryfater, I love you. This is amazing. What else can I say? Read it. Read it. Read the whole four books. You'll never regret it. It's wonderful. Currently reading. I have gone back to The Sword of Shannara. I promise. I have added on at least 10% in the last week. I'm going to finish this because I've got something planned for the second 6 months of this year, which I'll talk about in a separate video. So I'm trying to finish off Sword of Shannara. Still enjoying that, really quite like it. In tandem with that, so I'm reading Sword of Shannara on my Kindle. I'm over halfway now. I'm also finally going to finish Tad Williams' The Dragonbone Chair, the first book in the Memory, Sorrow and Thorn series. And it's interesting because they're both walking in the wilderness, both sets of characters at the moment. And for the very first time, I've had to keep the worlds separate because there are very different magical systems going on. But I'm actually really enjoying this. I've read about 150, 200 pages in the last 2 days. On my laptop, because I always have a book open on my laptop as well, I am reading the second in the Quint saga from the Edge Chronicles, and that is The Winter Nights. That continues the story of Quint from the first book, so we get to learn more about his education to become a knight in their world who goes and collects the special lightning stuff that is heavier when it's dark. I'm actually listening to 2 books at the moment because one of them was about to run out and I usually can't renew that one. I finally got to Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. I found it on audiobook so I can listen to and from work. It's awesome. I love the way it almost feels a little bit clockwork steampunk-ish within that world, which I quite like. And then my other one that I'm listening to, because it's going to expire in like 3 days and I need to get it finished, is The Summer Night, which is the 4th one in the Harry Dresden series by Jim Butcher. And I started that today, and I'm about a couple of hours in, and it's going good so far. It's really feeling like a fleshed out story and world now, which is good. So I am going to tease what I'm going to do for the rest of the year in my reading. I have actually put a list of all the books I'm planning to read up on list challenges. I'm completely addicted to this website. I don't know why. I just sit and click on books. It's been really good to find new books. And I will link that in the next video when I'm talking about that. But it'll be like a massive 6 months TBR. If you've got any comments or anything that you want to recommend for me, please hit me up. Please hit me up in the comment section below if you'd like to give it a thumbs up. And happy reading!